Hello there, it's Catherine here from Moonstarlodge, a local Central Ontario elder and cartomancer. I've worked in parapsychology and psychology and have worn a lot of hats here in my lodge in terms of all the work we do culturally and spiritually. I have a reading for you for the week of May 9th through the 15th, and I have a dancing puppy underneath the table, so you'll hear that dancing puppy. This is a contemplative week. It's a very serious week, and I am continuing to use spring-like cards. I was called to use the cards of the fairies and the little people, the fae, and plants and decks which suggested spring to me, but this is a very serious reading that I've just pulled, and I had to really sit with it for a minute before I brought it to you so that I could bring it and couch it in a good and sacred way. So let's go to the cards. This is the line of the Paulina Tarot, and by Paulina Cassidy. She calls herself Polly Faye as well, and I have a number of her decks, but this is Secrets of the Mystic Grove. This is the Rose deck. This is Unshakable Inner Peace. This is the Rebecca Campbell deck about the rose. This is Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, and this is the Fairy Reflections by Paulina Faye. So you'll see a similarity in the artwork. So let's start with our line of tarot cards. We have the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is a sense of defeat, a sense of being wounded, hurt, defeated, and it's interesting because it's followed by the Two of Swords, which is in contemporary times a person who is blindfolded, the swords are crossed, not wishing to hear, not wishing to see something, and at an impasse about making a choice. It's interesting, they go together. It's followed by the Hermit, then the Four of Cups, and Judgment, the Knight of Cups, and finally Justice. So just before I get into too much more of it, I think you need to know that this is going to emerge into something very positive within the frame of that week. The Five of Swords, fives are change, and we've been reaching out, we've been doing something a certain way, and now this is the moment when we have a self-realization that we cannot continue to do something that we've struggled for, trying to get to fit a certain way. We cannot continue that struggle. But the struggle may be overhanging us because we refuse to see something. Historically, all of the two cards represented balance, agility, and the ability to bring peace. This historically was a card with two knights with their swords crossed, coming to terms with something, coming to peace. And that's the interpretation I see in this card. So it's finding within oneself something perhaps you haven't been seeing, but you're now seeing it here. You're defeated. You're saying, this isn't working. This card says you're struggling to find a way to make something new again, to come at this. Whether it's you've been struggling with a job that you just can't handle, you can't make it work for yourself, you're going to experience soul death if you keep trying. It could be a marriage, it could be something within you that you're trying to do that you need to give up on. and not call it defeat, but call it a need for reemergence. And this is the card saying you're taking the time to figure it out and come to peace. How you do that is to be the hermit. And the hermit is the scholar who pulls into self, spends some time alone, and actually researches what's needed. They are the knowledge keeper in the deck. That's very much emphasized by the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is usually one cup being offered from spirit that isn't even being acknowledged. This is a sense of boredom, a sense of withdrawal. So this is all in alignment with what's been happening, but the element of judgment comes in here. This tells me that you will be judging and making for yourself the kind of decision that will get you out of this sense of impasse and the unknown. The Knight of Cups comes along. Cups are emotion and they are intuition. And this Knight of Cups is going full bore, moving toward something new. So this tells me that what you felt defeated about, you've worked through, you've researched, you are accepting the cup that's being offered. You're going to a higher place to create judgment, and now you've got a new objective to go at full tilt. And the final card, Justice, is a very powerful card. It's a major arcana, and it says that you bring into balance that sense not just of starting out the week feeling defeated, but you're actually bringing the situation into balance and perfectly in a place of justice. I normally offset and I go to the clarifiers as I talk about the particular reading, but I wanted to give you the flow of the reading this week. What needs to happen when you feel defeated? This tells me that you are separate from source, that you're not necessarily very grounded, that you haven't been doing rituals, that you're feeling alone. You should never feel alone. We have an ally in spirit. So you need to ask. You need to launch, to soar, to request. You need to take the time to do some ceremony and some prayer, some journaling, some introspection, and really face this thing that you can't see to find the peace. You come at this impasse here as the scientist. Dissect it, because when we feel defeated, it's a hard emotional baggage to carry. It's just a burden beyond which most of us just want to run screaming from that kind of emotional pain. So if you go into your left brain here, you connect with spirit, go to the spirit place, analyze like a scientist. This clarifier is quite lovely. You can make it through. Your higher self is always guiding you. What wisdom does your higher self have for you? Pull out your cards. Lay it on the line. Talk out loud to the Creator. You are not alone. This is plant yourself here. This is a beautiful picture of a woman. Integration, embodiment, and grounded action. So Spirit is saying to you here through these cards to get grounded, to bring this peace down through your higher self within you into this dimension. The knowledge will flow. This card is wisdom. Your divine inner wisdom is always available to you. It's not when we're down here in this place. This doesn't feel very wise. But the hermit is wise, you know. The scientist is wise. Spirit is wise. So you're using all aspects of yourself. The last card here is get grounded. Empathy. This is speaking to the empaths. This is the highly sensitive people and the need to connect with nature. So planting yourself here, she's sitting in nature. She's getting grounded. Wisdom comes from the earth. So this is a week for some solitude. This is a week for turning within and spending time. You can flip the camera. This is a rather short, sweet, and deep reading. There are 7 decks involved, and all of the cards speak to a flow here on the same theme. So this is probably going to speak to most people following my readings this week. It says to me that this is an overarching collective consciousness issue. So spend some time. Remember you have an ally in spirit. Remember to ask, just simply ask, and go and do the things instead of sitting there curled up in a ball, putting your cortisol levels and your adrenaline levels and your sadness out there. Do the thing which will get you refocused and rebalanced and finding peace. Anyway, if you like this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Shoot me a coffee down below, and know that we're doing a contest where when we get to 1,000 subscribers on Instagram, we're going to give away a free reading and or like a deck of cards for a second place. All right, have a good week. I hope.